So once you are happy with the one you want, we move on to the next step, which is get started. And it's nice and easy for you. It just says here, start with this design. So you click that and you're off. Now it's going to want you to enter your email address, or you can log in with your Apple ID or your Google ID if you want to do that. I'll show you email, and it's already got my details in because obviously I do a few of these, and then I'm going to continue. Think about it. Right. So it's just getting things set up, and then it's going to be that site that we just looked at. So first thing it asks you to do is give it a title. And this is just for the title of the site. This is what's going to appear on Google, but you can mess about with this later, so don't worry about it too much. Then it gives you some nice little tips. So here's how you edit pages, but I'll show you all this in a second. It's going to tell you how you create new pages and how you style pages. But again, I'll show you all that in a second. And this is the back end interface. You've got a nice little intro video there. It's got like things that you should do as you go along, which again is kind of stealing my thunder a bit. I'm going to show you all that as we go. But just to show you, it's nice and easy to use, and they're just trying to make it as simple for you as possible. So yeah, this is the menu that I showed you in the slides. Super simple. This is everything in your website right here. And I'll go through the interface in a couple of steps time. But what I wanted to show you first was some of the first things you should do if you do kind of nothing else. What do you need to do to get set up? So we've got our email in there. The first thing you might want to do is you sort out your domain name. Now, like I said before, Squarespace has got everything built in. So you can buy your domain name through Squarespace if you haven't got one. And any of the websites you take out with Squarespace, you get a free domain for the first year. So once you've paid and you've gone live, or as you're going live, you can pick your domain name with them. You might have already got your domain name with somebody else, and that's fine. You can link it just by doing a couple of things. So to do all of this good stuff, you go to settings and then domains, and then this just shows you. So it comes up with a random generated name just to make yours unique. And that's actually a live website. So we can change that. We don't want to be crocodile leopard. So I'm just going to call it my new site. Problem is that's probably already gone, but let's try. Thinking about it. Yep. So that's now changed. And so if we just go to that, it's now called mynewsite.squarespace.com. And that domain name is free and never expires. So that's always going to be there if you wanted to use that. Obviously, it looks a bit odd with Squarespace shoved in the middle of it. So you're probably going to want to get another one. And then your options are above are get a domain. So buy one through Squarespace. And they probably cost about 16 quid a year for a .co.uk, maybe a bit more for a .com, depending on how popular your domain, the domain you want is, or use a domain I own. So that, we won't go into that because it's slightly complicated, but basically, if you got it through GoDaddy, through 123reg, through any of those sites, it's got all the settings in here to move that over to Squarespace and point at your new website. So it's pretty easy to do, and then you can get it all sorted. But it's definitely one of the first things I think you should do so that your site's already set up for viewing and testing on the website. Now then, the next thing you want to do is think about who can see your name, your website live. So for right now, here's your different options. When you go public, that's probably at the end of the journey. That's when your website's fully live and you can start promoting it and listing it on Google and all of that good stuff. But in the meantime, while you're still building it, you probably want to do either private or password protected. I usually do password protected because what I'm usually doing is I'm working with a client. And so I send them the link and I give them the password and they can see their site as it's being built. So that's a really good thing to do, is figure it out. Like I say, password protected is good, especially if you're working with a friend or something that's helping you out. And I'll give you an example of how that looks for one I'm working on right now. So you can see this site is going to be RBMT, and you can see it's come up rbmt.squarespace.com because that's his free one, but he's also got co.uk. Just going to
So
answer that.
just to confirm,
Yeah.
is the domain you choose through Squarespace, is it free for a year, or was that the template which was free for a year?
So there's two things. So my new site, let's say you wanted mynewsite.squarespace.com, that's free forever. Problem with that is it's got Squarespace in the middle of the title, so you probably don't want that. That's probably just better for like an admin testing site. But if once you sign up for any of the plans, and I'll tell you how much the plans are later, you'll get a domain free for a year. Now, I don't know what the full restrictions are on that. So like, let's say if you wanted something super popular, I don't know, like apple.co.uk, that's going to cost something like $5,000 or something crazy because of apple.com. If they've probably actually bought it already. But if you want something super popular, I don't think they'll pay for that sort of, I think it's within a reasonable amount. But if you want something just regular and that's unique to your brand, they're about 16 quid a week. Sorry, 16 quid a year. Yeah. So that's what I'd say on that. Just going back to this website, so this is the site that I'm working on at the moment. It hasn't actually shown me the password, so that's a bad example. But let's just try one more. Yeah, there you go. So that's what a password protected Squarespace website looks like. You can send that. So this is her proper link, but it's not live yet. So I can send this to her and she can send it to her friends, and then just got a little password, and in you go, and then you're into the full site. So something you should think about when you're setting your site up. And then the other thing to think about is if you are collaborating with anybody, set them up as users. So if you go down to permissions, you can invite contributors or just add a basic author who just add text. And when you invite a contributor, they've got all different levels. So they could be an admin, that's kind of access to everything. And then your admins get sort of slowly taken away as you go down the list. All right, so that's that.